All right, today we're going to be looking at anything with a number 9 in our notes packet over patterns and variables. And what we're going to be looking at today is finding, using the least common denominator of fractions to help us compare and order fractions. So we're using a common denominator to order fractions. Now, a common denominator, remember how we've been working with least common multiples? Guess what the least common denominator is? Our least common denominator is our least common multiple. So that's why we've been working with least common multiples. All right, so let's compare these fractions. I want to know which one's bigger, 5/8 or 7/10. Well, since I don't have the same denominator, I need to make them the same because right now I'm comparing apples and oranges. I want to be comparing apples to apples. So what is the least common denominator between 8 and 10? Well, I believe the least common multiple of 8 and 10 is 40. How did I get that? I can either make a list or I can use prime factorization, whichever you want to do. So that means now I'm going to make equivalent fractions. Remember how we've been working with equivalent fractions as well. So how do I get to 40? Well, I multiply by 5. So what do I do on the top? I multiply by 5. So I've got 25/40ths. And for 7/10, how am I going to get to 40? I'm going to multiply by 4. So I'm going to do 7 times 4 is 28. So 25/40ths and 28/40ths. 25/40ths is less than, so 5/8 is less than 7/10. So again, now I'm comparing apples to apples down here. 25 apples is less than 28 apples. All right, let's move on to another. And this time we're comparing a mixed number. So first of all, it could be something as easy as I have a piece of lumber. I need a piece of lumber that is 4 3/16 feet long. Is 1 1/4 piece of lumber going to be long enough? The first thing I could do is see, is my whole number the same? Well, yeah, my whole number is the same, so now I need to look at my fraction. So again, I find the least common denominator, and I know the least common denominator here is going to be 16. So I need to multiply by 4. So 3/16 is less than 4/16. So 3/16, so 4 3/16 is less than 4 4/16. So is this here going to be enough? Yes, it is, because 4 is bigger than 3. So I'm going to have 1/16 left over. All right. So now we're going to be looking at fractions and mixed numbers. So the first thing I'm going to do is see, do I only have fractions? I do. 7/10 and 5/8. So that's the first thing we're going to compare is my fractions only. So again, 7/10, I feel like we just did this problem. Our least common denominator is going to be 40. Okay, so again, I know that 5, according to this here, 5/8 is less than 7/10. So it's going to go 5/8, 7/10. So I know I'm done with those. I can mark those out. Now I'm looking at my mixed numbers. 1 3/4 and 1 11/12. So 12 is going to be my common denominator, right? So to get to 12, I multiply by 3. So I'm comparing 9/12 and 11/12. So 9/12 is smaller than 11/12. So my mixed numbers are going to be 1 3/4 and 1 11/12. So going from smallest to largest, I have 5/8, 7/10, 1 3/4, 1 11/12. All right, you are now going to do these two problems right here. And notice for number 2, you need to go back and look at 2 slides ago where we were talking about our piece of lumber. So go ahead and hit pause on your video and I will be back with the answers. All right, let's see how we did here. First thing I'm going to do is find out what are my common denominator is going to be 72. So I'm comparing 54 over 72 and 56 over 72. So which one's going to be smaller? 6/8 is smaller than 7/9. All right, so I know that I'm comparing my piece of lumber that I have here to 4 3/16. That's how big of a piece of lumber I need. So 3/16 is going, when I find my equivalent mixed number, is going to be 4 6/32. So 4, let me get a pencil here, 4 6/32 is greater than 4 5/32. So is my piece of wood going to be long enough? No, it's not. It's going to be too short. All right, these are example problems for today. We will see you soon.